Shawnee. Welcome back. Guess what time it is? It is time for our weekly roundup, where I go over all of the eyeshadow palettes I used over the past week and I rank them from least liked to most liked. This week I have a package that was delivered. I'll check once we're done here. This week I have 6 slots, and that does include some singles. So I'm just gonna go ahead and jump right in. At number 6 is the quad that I put together from some of my single shadows, and I have them in a Copacetic Cosmetics magnetic palette. So this shade here is Copperhead from Pretties for Your Face. This shade is Adorbs from Looxi Beauty. And then these two are Sydney Grace shades. This one is Solomon, and this one is Keep Smiling, which is one of my favorite shades. You can't go wrong with a Sydney Grace matte. I would say that 98% of all of my single matte shadows are from Sydney Grace, maybe 99%. Now, I really enjoy Pretties for Your Face shades, and I also, well, actually, this is the first time I'm using Looxi Beauty. One of my friends sent several of their shades to me. I will say that 2 of them, like, shattered or, like, crumbled, essentially, and crumbled to the point where I couldn't repress them. So I'm just wondering how they are pressed, but the other ones have been totally fine. So I really liked this look. I would say that all of my looks this week were pretty neutral, no muss, no fuss, and I actually liked that. And also every look was for work. There is one look that was the most like boom pow different. Everything else was just like 2 shades, real neutral, real natural. I think also there were quite a few days where I was just rushing. Like, you know, having 15, 20, if that, minutes to get ready. And so neutral, natural, easy was the name of the game this week. At number 5, I have a newer palette, newer to me, the Sunset Chic palette from Colored Raine. And I did get their bundle with 4 palettes and a couple of other things from them. They were having a magnificent sale. They were practically just throwing things at you. So again, this was a day where I did something simple. I think I used 2 shades, or 3, not many, and I did something really quick and simple, and I really liked that it was sort of like orangey, sunset-y. Yeah, so this was at number 5. Number 4, I combined 2 palettes. This is the Viseart Neutral Matte palette. Here is that. And the Viseart Paris Nudes palette. So as you can see, this is all shimmer and this is all matte. I will say that Viseart shimmers, they're kind of like a softer, they're not gonna be like super duper in your face. They're gonna be like a softer shimmer in terms of the look. And I do like pairing my all shimmer Visearts with my all mattes. I would say that these are 2 of my favorites, if not my favorites that I have from Viseart. This is just a very much a staple palette. You have pretty much all the like warm neutrals that you need. I will go to this when I want something really simple. Well, that was before my Danessa Myricks groundwork came about, but I do recall that my more recent like professional business photos, I honestly just used this palette for just like a nice classic look. I think I'm gonna do another round of pictures. It wasn't cheap though. And then really enjoyed pairing it with the Paris Nudes. I just think they just look good together, and the palettes are so they're so complimentary and so easy to use to get a really quick look. I will say that I like the newer packaging a bit more than the old packaging, especially since with the newer packaging, you can go ahead and take the shades out and switch them around. So if you have the newer packaging for like one of their all matte palettes, it's going to be much easier to switch them around and create like your own palettes. What I will say is wait for a deep discount sale before you purchase anything from Viseart. Number 3, this is the most like boom pow look of the week, and I used 2 palettes from Cosmic Beauty. The first is the Gothic palette, which is their smallest palette because it has 12 shades, and it's a very curated all purple palette. So you're not gonna get anything besides a purple look with this palette, but it's still gonna be pretty. And I paired it with the Winter Wonderland palette, and I only used one shade from here. I used the shade Icicle for my inner corner. This was the look, the Copy Kitty look I did for this week. It was actually pretty simple. This is Rose. What are you doing? What are you doing? Why does it look like? Let me see your eye. Hey, hey. Let me see your eye. This was the look. These are the palettes that I used for the look I did for my Copy Kitty this week, and I think I used 2 shades for most of the look, and then the 1 shade from Winter Wonderland for the inner corner. So again, super simple. Yeah, I think in that look I also used my Danessa Myricks Groundwork palettes, and I used this throughout the week. Like, I'm pretty sure I used Mirage and Sculpted, and then I used Core, Harvest, and Tourmaline. So yeah, I like, it feels like, do I even need to include this in the roundup? You know I've used it. You know I've used it every week. So, I don't know. Now, number 2 is another Colored Raine palette, and it is their Neutral Chic palette. Guess what it is? It's a neutral palette. 3 mattes and 3 shimmers. Initially, this kind of reminded me of the Air palette from Nomad Cosmetics, like that, I think it's 6-pan palette that they came out with. This seems very similar to me in terms of just going for a neutral. Is that one more warm? This one is definitely warmer. And you can create a really simple, pretty look. Now, I was actually surprised by this shade. It's called 24 Karat. It looks so just like whatever and simple in the palette, but there's something about it that is just... that is so pretty. That is so pretty to me. I don't know why. Let me swatch. This one is Spoiled. Just these really nice golds. And then this one is Table for Two. Wow. These are just so pretty. I also got, so I got 4 of their palettes in the bundle. I showed you the Sunset Chic. This is the Neutral Chic. There's also Wealthy Chic and Pretty Chic. And I'll definitely be sure to use the Wealthy and Pretty. That's literally what I want to be in life. Wealthy and pretty. So I'll show those two to you once I am done with this. And number 1, another simple but really pretty look, neutral palette. I used the Blend Bunny Cosmetics All Done Up palette. So yeah, that's it. This one is 20 shades, and again, super neutral, but there's a bit of a variety here. You've got some greens, a bit of grayish blues, kind of bluish grays, I mean, and then you've got sort of this side of your classic warm neutrals, except for that one. Anyway, so I really liked this look. And again, all of the looks this week, I feel like were pretty simple, except for the Cosmic Beauty ones. So that is the roundup, but before I go, I do want to show you what else I got from Colored Raine. So you saw the Sunset Chic, the Neutral Chic, and then here is the Wealthy Chic. Now, if you've watched Erica Conger, you've seen this palette. She really likes it. And then the Pretty Chic. Oop. And there is that one. The other thing that I got, I purchased their skin sticks. Now, I got the ones in the 600 range. It's either the dark one or the deep one. I never know which one I am, but these are definitely in the 600 range. These are like foundation sticks or contour, bronzer. You can do whatever you want with them. And they definitely range in shades. So the deepest one is 600. So I'll just swatch these really quickly for you. 600. And then the next one, like up lighter than that, is 610. And then 620. $630. And $640. So I actually have on today $620 and $630. And so far, I like it. It's super light coverage. Like, I wore the skin sticks a couple times during the week and just like light coverage. Also, granted, I was rushing to get ready, so I didn't put on much. But a couple swipes, you're going to get super duper light coverage. And what I do like, though, is that I feel like there's a bit of a glow. So it's definitely not going to give you a matte finish. It's going to give you, like, not glowy and not matte. So what is that? Soft matte, soft glow? I don't know. It's kind of in the middle, but I do still set it with powder. I will say towards the end of the day, end of my work day, I was oily, but it didn't look bad. It didn't look like I was just like able to fry an egg on my face. It was just my oils were definitely like, hey girl. But yeah, I really like these. Now, there are some other things that give me light coverage that maybe I like a little bit more. Like the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm, of course. Actually, I think you can build that up pretty well. I do have a Tom Ford foundation stick that gives kind of light coverage. All of these, you can build them up. I would say I like these because they're very portable, just like any stick foundation though. So these are definitely going to be something that some things that I continue to use. Definitely probably not on days where I need to cover up my exhaustion, because these just don't do that at all. So I think that is it. I hope that some of this was helpful, and I also hope that you're continuing to take care of yourself. Don't forget to let me know what you've been using either last week, this coming week, or what you're just going to be using whenever you feel like it. Also, let me know, are you using your single shadows? Because I've managed to get them in there every week for quite some time now. I would love it if you liked the video, and I would love it even more if you subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.